Well, what I wanted to share with you today is an experience I never expected with food.
Mhm.
And that is that it tastes divine. I never realized there was this possibility with food, and I've been involved in food forever, cooking it, eating it, sharing it with others. But what's happening now, like I made some French fries the other day in our air fryer, salt, oil, and sugar free, of course. And I reached over and took a little piece of the raw red skin potato and ate it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the taste sensation that was. Or if I bite into an apple from our orchard friend Molly, who has an organic orchard of apples and pears.
Yeah, and they're old variety apples, and that's some of the newer varieties. We just don't have exposure to those apples in the store. We've never tasted some of these varieties before, and they are good.
They are divine. That's all I can say. I'm shocked. The taste is so big in my mouth and sweet and delicious. So, going salt, oil, and sugar free is a never ending adventure, it seems like, in tasting food more deeply, in loving what I'm tasting. It doesn't matter what it is, it can be air pop popcorn with absolutely nothing on it. I have a few kernels and it is so sweet. It's amazing. So, this is the land of magic if you decide to go salt, oil, and sugar free in terms of the taste of the food, let alone what it does to our bodies in terms of health. Helping to prevent strokes, helping to prevent high blood pressure, helping to prevent heart attacks, helping to prevent all kinds of conditions. So I can't be strong enough. I just had no idea that this awaited me when I made the choice to go salt, oil, and sugar free. The first couple of weeks, it can be a little bit tricky because your taste buds are adjusting and it's quite a change. But we have tips for that too. And the main tip is either swing your food to sweet taste or to spicy taste in the seasoning that you use. And that really covers the need for salt and oil. You really won't miss oil. Oil's easy to change. The salt is the one that we're hooked on. So, yeah, just give it a go. Give it a real 100% try for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you'll begin to taste the flavors of food. And it only gets better. Now, how long have we been
Oh,
SOS free?
I don't know. Maybe
Probably a year and a half.
at least a year and a half, maybe two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's interesting what I hear you talking about. It's kind of like the icing on the cake. We went, excuse me, we went SOS free to mainly deal with a surprising rise in your blood pressure. So we went SOS free for health reasons. What Connie's talking about now is the icing on that cake. We want that cake first. We want our health, and taste and all that is, I would say, secondary, but
Yeah.
we've never been willing to tolerate anything but delicious food. So we found ways to do that. And so, yeah, this going SOS free, so it may be 2 years, at least a year and a half. And so it's interesting how might say our taste buds change. I think from what the brain science tells us about our experience with food and taste buds is that as we stop putting in those high calorie, high salt foods that stimulate the dopamine, the brain keeps re-regulating and coming back to its balance point of just eating food as it is in its whole form, which is the way this species, this physiology evolved. So we're kind of coming back to home as opposed to eating the high processed, what they call ultra palatable, high fat, high salt foods that stimulates the dopamine so our brains regulate how much dopamine is made when we get a lot of inputs of these high processed, high sugar, salt, and oil foods. And so it generates less dopamine, right? So when we take it away, everything seems flat because there's not that, well, that's really nice. But as the brain re-regulates, well, Connie's calling it a little bit of heaven.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's divine.
Yeah.
Now, we found a couple of other things that really make a difference in the taste of food, too. And one is to go organic. The organic foods, because they have more nutrients, they taste different and taste better, in our opinion. So that can make a difference in the taste of the foods we prepare and eat.
And then we're not getting the glyphosate. How do you say that?
Glyphosate.
Glyphosate sprays on all the vegetables, or many of them, in today's world, what does that do to the tight junctions?
Yeah, it breaks the tight junctions. So there's a much higher propensity for leaky gut, and leaky gut leads to all kinds of problems, particularly autoimmune. So yeah, so going organic, again, the taste benefit is kind of the icing on the cake. Going organic, the cake is better health. And the other thing is if we, what was that other thing? Go organic. Oh, and then varieties of food. The varieties of fruits and vegetables available at the grocery store are kind of limited, and they've kind of developed around foods that can be grown in large quantities and therefore harvested mechanically and transported thousands and thousands of miles and show up at my store looking good. So they've been hybridized. They've been selected to really be able to handle the tough harvesting methods of a machine and the bouncing of transportation and still look good. I mean, almost all the tomatoes that we have in our stores, and almost all the bananas that we have in our stores, they're picked green, which means they're not vine ripened, which means they don't have all that full nutrient.
Yes.
So if we can buy local and fresh and get vine ripened, that is a boost in taste too. And then if we buy local from our organic farmers who are growing heirloom or some of the older varieties of tomatoes and beans and eggplant and zucchini, they taste different. Lots of the tomatoes, you'll notice they have a much softer skin. You can see there's no way this tomato would hold up bouncing on a truck for 500 miles.
Sure.
And so you get the benefit of these amazing foods and flavors that typically have been kind of processed out of our foods at the produce section in our stores. So yeah, lots of ways to improve the flavor of our dishes.
Yeah, get to know the organic farmers and orchardists in your area and support them. They're doing an important thing for not only our health, but the health of the planet. And we've told you we volunteered an organic farmer and we love it. We get beautiful produce that tastes out of this world. We can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So recipe, we're going to do carrot dogs, carrot hot dogs, and they are so good. They're amazing. We'd heard about them for a while, but we hadn't made them. And so I tried a recipe of a gal who I respect, and they are wonderful. So please give it a try. There's really no prep. It takes minutes to create, and then you let them marinate for a day or longer. and then cook them for 7 to 10 minutes and you're in business.
I've been looking for a good hot dog alternative since I first became vegetarian back in the early 70s. And I've tried so many and basically just defaulted to some of the better tasting vegan dogs that I could buy at the store, that were highly processed. And so when we came across this, I was skeptical because, like I say, I had tried so many of the whole food versions for hot dogs, and I was very happy with these. We definitely, I don't think we're ever going to buy another commercial hot dog.
Yeah, they are wonderful and really quick to make. So give it a try. And we use lettuce leaves for our bun. And it's so good with tomato and onion and pickles and I like ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, all the condiments. I mean, the condiments is such a big part of the whole hot dog experience too, I think. Okay, everyone. Well, it is December 24th. We want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday.
Merry, merry days ahead. All of them.
Bye for now.